and on the way out at our expense.
Thank you.
So thank you from experts, and thank you, actors, very much for sharing your story. Next we have Cliftonia Johnson. She's a real firecracker. She's a member of DC 37, and she's going to share her story with us.
Good morning. My name is Cliftonia Johnson, and I am a mother of 2 children. I worked in the New York City Department of Education public school system for 13 years as a community associate. For many years, I tracked the attendance of children in schools, made daily phone calls to parents, and interacted and visited with parents in their homes. In my position, I was the first line of defense against truancy, and I helped ensure parents were aware of certain issues their children were facing in school. In addition to that, I have been a union activist for 20 years. I helped my co-workers by supporting their right to organize and their right to address their grievances. On October 7th, I was laid off from my job, as well as 672 public school support staff who perform vital functions. It was one of the largest layoffs in New York City public employment history. Y'all heard what I said? In history of public employment. These layoffs, this includes school aides, parent coordinators, health aides, and many others. These layoffs were another step by the Bloomberg administration and his banking friends to privatize public education. The layoffs occurred in predominantly low-income neighborhoods and were predominantly head-of-household black women. Over the last 8 to 9 years, a culture of fear has been created in the public education system, where teachers and support staff are subtly intimidated if they speak out against the shortchanging of our students, the lack of safety and security in the schools. They continue to cut staff who maintain an environment where children can feel free to learn. With these layoffs, schools are less safe, parent-teacher interaction is lost, and the environment is changed where learning is not stressed. This issue is not just about me and my layoff, not just about the 672 school employees. This is about the children who will not have hard-working individuals who are looking out for them, who are talking to their parents about what these children are facing on a daily basis. This is about the future of our children. Yeah. Hear me again. This is about the future of our children, which in turn is the future of this country. Thank you for your time.
I think that we have to speak again about education and what that means to the larger picture, not just the city, but the larger country. And if we to address that, our expert analysis, and we're going to need that microphone from Dr. West. Sure.
I mean, this is clearly about the destruction of public education, starting in low-income areas. It is about allowing hedge funds to come in and create charter schools, and anytime hedge fund managers start taking a deep interest in educational facilities in the poor, it's not because they care about learning. They see that pot of money, $600-something billion of federal funds for education, as something they can take. They are trying to break the unions. Charter schools have no unions. And I think what you're describing is a very frightening process whereby professionals such as yourself, as well as teachers, essentially are replaced by temp workers, non-unionized, poorly paid, easily dismissible temp workers who have no training and no commitment to the children at all, because the purpose of a charter school is to make money, not to educate.
Correct.
And can we speak also about the leadership academies that we discussed?
Yeah, we spoke about that last night. Maybe you can address that point. That I mean, I'll just as an introduction, the Mayor Bloomberg. And by the way, if you want to run for mayor, I'll be your press person. Mayor Bloomberg, Eli Broad, these figures have created what they call leadership academies where they bring in people with absolutely no experience in the public school system or in education, no training. They've never spent an hour in a classroom. They run them through 9-month courses where they teach them corporate management, and then they put them in charge of these schools to carry out this policy of harvesting. And these people are deeply anti-union. And I think it's something you've experienced, that anybody who attempts within the system to stand up for union rights is suddenly their reviews are negative. They are shunted aside. There is a war happening within public education on the part of these corporate forces, and powerful corporate overlords, plutocrats like Bloomberg, are placing these figures in charge of these schools to carry out that policy.
I would have to say that is absolutely correct. And it's a shame, because when I was growing up, and I'm 48, when I was growing up, and a lot of you remember, we had a principal in the school who came up through the system as a teacher, then an AP, then a principal. That's not the case now. They're coming straight from the outside in the corporate world, coming into the schools and don't know a thing about educating our children, especially our low income, thank you very much, and minority children. And it's those schools that are on the first line of attack, because they're not attacking the schools that are doing well. They're not attacking the schools that are mostly white. They are attacking the schools that are mostly black and Latino. Watch it, and I'm telling the parents, come to those schools, come to those school leadership team meetings, come to those PA meetings, just walk in, you have the right to, but watch how the principals do not want you there. But come in anyway, because that's your child in that school, and you have valuable skills.
Just one quick word. Oh, our dear sister Cliftonia is hitting the mark, I'm telling you. But I just think it's very important for us to acknowledge the intimate relation between corporate greed and the vicious legacy of white supremacy.
Yeah, that's right.
That the disproportionate amount of effect of our brothers and sisters, not just black and brown, but also red and also yellow. Now, we love all children, but the disproportionate effect is on the chocolate side of town, and it spills over to the vanilla side. And we hate white supremacy. We hate male supremacy. It also has a disproportionate effect on our sisters of all colors, disproportionately black and brown. Male supremacy, and then our precious children. Oftentimes, the women caring and nurturing for the children, where so many of the brothers tied to what Michelle Alexander calls the new Jim Crow, the prison industrial complex, and the collapse of our public educational system is intimately connected to the new Jim Crow and the expansion of the prison industrial complex, with the intense police surveillance and the arbitrary police power in the form of stop and frisk. So we have a holistic view when we talk about Occupy Wall Street movement. Why? Because we're committed to truth and justice.
This dumbing down, this loss of education is intentional. And if so, what quarters might it be coming from?
Of course it's intentional. That's what standardized testing is about. It's about rote memorization. It's about class. It's about slotting people within their place within the corporate state. So if you graduate from an Ivy League school, you go and become a systems manager at places at Goldman Sachs. Now, the sort of poster child for the idiocy of this system is a man named Lawrence Summers, youngest tenured professor at Harvard in economics, who carried out under the Clinton administration most of the deregulations, including ripping down the firewalls between the banks that created our financial crisis. And a figure like Summers knows only one thing, and that is how to serve a dead system. That's all they're trained to do. They have this kind of narrow analytical intelligence and the emotional intelligence or emotional maturity of a 12-year-old. All they know is how to loot, steal money from taxpayers, the Treasury, and the Fed to pump these systems back up. In essence, they've never been taught how to think, and that's what the corporate state wants. It wants to teach you. It teaches you what they want you to know. It doesn't teach you how to think, which is something radically different. And that whole process of standardized testing, that whole sort of diminishing of quality public education for low-income people and people of color is part of this war, so that some people are funneled directly into Walmart and some people are funneled directly into Goldman Sachs, and those who essentially don't want to accept their place within this system, as many people in this park understand, are completely shunted aside. In short, the corporate state makes war on the qualities of truth and beauty. Anything that's transformative, whether that's journalism, whether that's art, whether that's education, all of these disciplines that have the capacity to make us whole human beings are being crushed.